All right. So, I mean, by now at least you know Flaconi is one of the largest pure play beauty e-commerce player in the region. We provide all your beauty needs, starting from value to luxury segment as well. Now, what is important for all of us to understand is what is happening in the European e-commerce market, right? So, if you try to understand what's happening and where are we currently heading towards, then you would notice that we are really living into an era where loyalty is a myth. So as you can see on the right hand side, this is based on recent European report. Only 27% customer are actually loyal to any particular brand, which means that customers are willing to switch, and they are switching from one channel to other, one brand to no other, one e-commerce player to other e-commerce player, right? And this is happening across all the segment. Now, what does that mean? That means if you see customer acquisition cost is growing double fold. So in last 5 years, customer acquisition costs have gone up by 60%. At the same time, if you see, most of the consumer are actually opting to buy discounted item. So if you see 34 to 37% of the customer, they are waiting for actually, promotion or discount before buying at the full price. Now, what does that simply mean? That simply means customer want best product at cheapest price, and they are not even loyal. Now, how can you really achieve this, right? At the same time, all this global economic crisis that we are seeing, it is making hard for everybody's life to actually make those products available to our customer. We can only make this happen by two ways. A, infusing more fund. So, spend too much money on customer acquisition, right? Spend heavy amount into digital marketing or do all sort of, gigs to just attract customer. Or I always say, focus on excellence. So it is important for all of us to understand that, those golden era of funding and getting more easy fund have gone. So now you don't have access to fund. So what you have? You only have limited resource, and you have to make that limited resource work. You can only make that happen with operational excellence. And therefore, what I say, if we just deep dive into last 30 years of e-commerce journey, right? What happened in last 30 years, and how e-commerce have actually evolved in that. If you look at the actual customer survey and the VC report of e-commerce journey, almost 90% e-commerce businesses failed within first 10 years, and 95% fail in 15 years. And this is same across all the segment, all the geography. Europe is not an exception, right? So even within Europe, 95% e-commerce business, and you can also vouch for that. If you think about e-commerce business 5 years, 10 years ago, you might not even heard about their name now. And same applies to everywhere. But what has changed is the reason. The reason why they have failed. If you see first 5 years of their customer journey, right? So they fail because of poor market product fit. So which means somebody started selling juice online, right? Who is gonna buy juice online within 5 minutes, right? But there are so many, Tom and Harry, which is coming up as a part of e-commerce that they eventually fail, right? But and also you are trying to acquire customer into a wrong digital marketing part. So majority of the reason for initial 5-year fail is not because of any fund issue or anything else, but it is primarily because of the fact that they did not have right product for the right set of customer. But the same reason have drastically changed after 5 years. Because if you survive for 5 years, that means you are selling something which is relevant, right? You're trying to sell something which customers are willing to buy. But then the question is why they are failing. They are failing because of poor execution. And as you can see, 82% business across the globe, across the e-commerce business, we are into this e-commerce conference. So it's very, very important to understand why we could fail. So 82% fail because of poor cash flow. If I have to put cash flow into a simple layman term, I would say because of poor operational excellence. So it is very, very imperative for all of us to understand that not digital marketing, not some tech jargon, AI, ML, or anything would save your e-commerce business. What would save your e-commerce business is actually, the simple, basic foundation of operational excellence. And then the question arises, what we are doing wrong? Why businesses are actually failing, right? Where is the actual mistake in this entire part? So if I have to put that together, right, most of the businesses, or 95% of the businesses, focus on something which is not even, something unique about. They focus on profit and growth. How can you get growth? Infuse more money, right? Give more discount, right? Acquire more customer via different channel, right? Spend extra on digital marketing, put extra digital marketing budget, and so on. So ultimately what happens is, right? So ultimately, if you look at any business have 3 cycles. But most of us focus on 1 cycle. Number one wheel is profit wheel. And what does that mean? In order to make more revenue, what you do is, you sell more product, which means you have some expenses. So you sell more product, and then you remove all your operating expenses, then what you get is profit. So you have sales, you remove your expenses, you get profit. Whatever profit you get, you start putting that back into business using, either buying more inventory, or, putting into digital marketing, or, putting a new automation in the warehouse, anything of that sort. This is very simple. Most of us do that. But this is not the issue. The issue comes when you are not able to manage the other side of the panel, which is cash flow wheel. So whatever sales you are generating, right, it is important that those sales are getting realized. So let's say you sold 200 million of product to your customer, but customer is not paying you on time. And this is a common issue in e-commerce business as well, right? So you have too much of revenue, but you don't get cash. If you don't get cash, what will happen? You will not have enough money to buy more inventory, more value creation. But if you are getting cash, you will put that money as operating cash into your inventory. So you eventually buy more inventory, you make more sale, you make more profit, right? But there is one more side, and that side is ROE wheel, return on equity. In a simple layman term, what does that mean? It simply means it is important that we are measuring efficiency of every penny that we invest into our business. If you see, most of the organization have, profit KPI, right? So you have, revenue KPI, sales, profitability KPI, and, all that KPI. But not all function within organization have all those KPI. As per Harvard Business School, usually a good organization is one which has at least 7 KPIs. Why 7? Because we have 7 days in a week. Why 7? Because we have 7 color of rainbow. Why 7? Because we have 7 note of music. So ideally, as per a psychological research, 7 KPI is considered to be a good KPI for each function. And by the way, not just e-commerce business fail 90% in 10 years, even Fortune 500 company, 50% of Fortune 500 company actually gets, out of the list in every 10 years. So this is, this is not just an e-commerce phenomena, but this is actually a global phenomena. And why it is happening? As per research, the reason is same. They always focus on profit wheel. They don't focus on actually measuring how their individual department is performing. For example, when we talk about ROE, right? If you're making more profit, your shareholder will be happy because they will get more cash. If they are happy, they will put more money into your business. So you have got extra leverage to buy more inventory and make more revenue. But what happened is, in the ambition of growth, we all try to put so much money into discount, margin, and all your marketing expense, customer acquisition, that we are not left with cash. And if we are not left with cash, we don't have further money to infuse into our entire cycle. And actually, as per research, 62% of the Germany e-commerce business collapsed within 3 years, not even 5 years. And the main reason is same. They are always striving for growth without actually looking at the entire cycle. And therefore, I always say, the actual winner is not one who is running behind growth. The actual winner is one who is looking after all the 3 cycles. And those 3 cycles are profit wheel, cash flow, and ROE. And again, as I said, new technology will come and go. You would have heard about blockchain 5 years, 10 years ago, right? Now nobody is talking about blockchain, right? You are hearing about new technology now. After 5 years, nobody will talk about that technology. Technology will be obsolete, but the foundation would remain same, right? The most successful business, for example, if you take example of Apple, in the first version of Apple with Steve Jobs, it failed miserably. He was fired. But in the second version of Apple, it was most successful. You know why? Because Apple has COO, Chief Operating Officer, which was Tim Cook, who is now the CEO. So it is important that you are not just have a fantastic product, but you know how to run that business. If you are not aware about how to run that business, it would fail miserably. And therefore, as I said, the winner will be one who will not just focus on growth or all this jargon, but actually focus on foundation and fundamental. Now you might ask, what are those foundations? What are those actual pillars? So according to me, these are five pillars which are essential for business growth. And these pillars have been validated by all the big consulting firms, by all the Fortune 500 companies, and they have been proven successful. I will also share some of the top success stories from the e-commerce industry across the globe, which have used this pillar and they have actually seen a greater result, right? The first pillar and the most important pillar is demand and supply. The whole world is working on demand and supply, yeah? You have inflation because there is a limited supply, right? You have decrease in your productivity because you have, excess of demand. So the whole game of economy, business, or even your life depend on demand and supply. So it is very, very important to understand you are doing a right demand forecasting. So focus on fundamental of demand forecasting. Focus on what is required. So as I said, right, it is not important to find right product. It is important to buy right product in the right quantity, right? If something is selling, don't suddenly stock up everything for next 6 months, because after 2 months, that product might not sell and you will be completely left over with that inventory, which might take another 6 years for you to consume it. The other pillar and the most important pillar, according to me, is procurement and supply chain. It is important for all of us to actually learn from what's happening around us, that localization is the key. Yesterday we had China issue, now we have Middle East issue, tomorrow we'll have some other issue. As per McKinsey report, every 3.7 year, there is a supply chain disruption. Even without COVID, even if you remove all this, Ukraine war and all this Middle East crisis, even without that, as per last 100 years of data, every 3.7 years there is a supply chain disruption, even in the normal case. And if you have COVID and all these fundamentals, then of course you will have more disruption. Now, if you have more disruption, it's important that you have a plan which is risk-proof, and therefore supply chain should be given a most important seat in the board so that they will be able to solve your business issue as well. The third and the most important part, yet important, is financial planning. How many of you actually know that, what are the 7 KPI of finance? I'm sure no one. Nobody care. Because, finance is always considered as one who will take care of all the function and simply do a reporting. But that's not how, great businesses are built. If you want to build good business, focus on profit. If you want to build better business, focus on ROI and cash flow. But if you want to build best business, focus on financial KPIs, right? We don't track record on we don't track capital utilization of finance. We don't utilize what is the actual impact of automation in the warehouse, right? How many of us know? We just heard about automation, right? Suddenly everybody start doing automation. But we don't know what will be the impact of that, actual automation on the customer service. There is one more thing which is the most important part, which is talent management. If you really want your business to have operational excellence, you need that kind of mindset. And therefore, it is important that you start cultivating that kind of mindset in the organization. Last but not least, I think customer service is important. As I said, loyalty is a myth. Think about customer within you. Would you purchase the same product from your loyal favorite e-commerce brand, even if they will be selling at 50% extra? I mean, no, charging 50% more? No, doesn't matter, right? Would you be buying a product from your favorite brand even if they will give 3-day delivery? No. So it is important for all of us to understand that, customer is not fool. When we are customer, we are smart. But, when we start running e-commerce business, we think customer is fool, right? We try to give them discount, and then we think that, they will come back to us and buy at full price. Come on, that's not going to happen, right? So it is very, very important to understand and, have full, transparent, and authentic customer service, right? As I said, right, customer is king is not an old phrase. This phrase would be relevant even for next 100 years. So how can we do that, right? It is important that usually within an organization, right, every function have silos KPIs, right? Most of them don't work in a close collaboration, right? And usually whatever I talked about are always considered as a cost center, which means, right, supply chain is a cost center. But again, as I said, customer service is a cost center, right? But again, it is important to understand that these are not cost center, these are value center. And the moment you start creating and treating them as a value center, you will see a tremendous improvement in your organization. You will also see that nobody is just working for their own function. They're actually working for the entire collaboration approach so that you will have the best customer experience. And therefore, I said, always focus on 7 KPI or 5 plus minus 2. For me, and within Flaconi, we focus on 3 major KPI from supply chain perspective, and that is service, inventory, and cost. We want to have buy right product at the right time in the right quantity. We want to offer best customer service, so we want to give best customer availability. At the same time, we want to give that at the lowest possible price. And therefore, once you do this, ultimately what you will have is a full transformation in the organization. Again, I always say, don't focus on fancy things, right? Focus on fundamental basics, right? Fancy things are actually the outcome of what you will get once you start focusing on the basic and the fundamental. I would like to share some use cases from what happened with those organizations which have actually adopted this kind of technology and this kind of operational excellence. As you can see, right, these are some of the top e-commerce businesses in the world, right? This might not represent their current stage, but if you see, right, most of the organizations have actually seen more than 50-60% growth in their revenue and at least 20 to 25% growth in their bottom line. And what they had, most of them have the same challenge across fulfillment, inventory, cash flow, operational excellence, supply chain. So it is very, very important to actually understand that this tech jargon will not solve or not make your e-commerce business growth and profitable, but actually this fundamental will. And I would like to also share what we have done in Flaconi and what result we have seen. We have been working on this from last couple of years, and we have seen a great improvement in every angle, right? As you can see, we reduce our inventory by 40%. What does that mean? That means we have given cushion to our business to grow at least 20% plus without investing extra money. That sounds amazing, right? So you want to grow without spending money, right? Every VC will love that. At the same time, we have reduced our out of stock from 20% to 3%. And we are best in class in the e-commerce industry. If you take any European e-commerce business, we are best in class at this moment looking at the entire situation. Not only that, we have also reduced our onboarding time from 49 days to just 5 days now, which means earlier we used to take 49 days to onboard new product on our website, but now we are able to do that in just 5 to 7 days without spending anything, just focusing on the operational excellence. So what we have done, we have actually created value for everybody, right? Our CEO says we are not e-commerce, we are V-commerce, which means we want to create value for our customer, our employee, and for our supplier, right? A business will only be successful when they will create value for everybody and not just for them. That's it from my side. I hope you like it. Thank you so much.
I wanted to ask, what trends do you foresee for the future, but especially now for 2024? So what key trends do you expect, and what should companies prepare for this year?
I mean, from e-commerce perspective, I believe live commerce is growing at very fast pace. If you see, Europe have 21% growth in live commerce, which means that no website, nothing, right? Just one influencer, one video camera, selling product, touch and feel and everything. It is estimated to be $700 billion business in this year. And currently it's very prominent in China, 80% revenue comes from there. But I believe, Europe would be one of those segments where it will grow much faster than what we see.
Are there any consequences out of this trend for supply chain management or optimizing the processes you just talked about?
It would put extra pressure on supply chain because earlier you had so much of data and history to understand what customer demands are and everything. But now, since live commerce is so quick, it's gonna be extra, very difficult for supply chain to really, cope up with the entire demand.
And more difficult to predict, even like with the best data science team. All right. What are the growth projections for retail media, and what challenges do companies face in the domain?
In which domain?
Like let me rephrase that. Like for the retail media growth and challenges, what are the growth projections? And so, like I'm repeating this question that somebody has asked. I hope you understand it better. Yes, otherwise, I throw in a new question.
Honestly, I think we are growing at much faster pace. We have, our foundation are set, right? Our e-commerce business is actually at a boom, right? We have got right team, right people, right process, and right customer demand, right? So we are actually into 5 countries. We will be expanding into 3 more countries this year. So I think, as I said, right, once you have foundation set, then there is no limit, right? People fail because they start, it's important to understand what not to do, right? You will get so much of buzzword in this e-commerce every single day that you will get completely confused and start implementing everything. And then you fail. It's important to understand what not to do. And then you exactly know what is the actual secret source of growth and profitability.
Then one last question, because 2023 has been a challenging year for many brands, especially in the e-commerce. Everyone's talking, but some might have even been winners out of this. Some have unfortunately had some significant difficulties as well. And so your key message is focus on good foundation.
Fundamental foundation, operational excellence.
In order to focus on profitability,
yes,
and that with good strategic planning on all levels. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm sure you are available for questions as well. And thank you very much.